Hey guys, Alucard here, also known as an esports legend at asymmetrical games that no one plays. And today's video features some of the dumbest developer decisions I've ever seen in video game history. That's right, I'm talking about TCM's new upcoming 1 vs 6 mode known as Rush Week, where not only can you not pick your side, but you can't even play with your friends. This is quite baffling since the entire core game mode is based around being able to both choose your side as well as play with your friends and master your teamwork with them. Another game that came out recently, known as Killer Clowns from Outer Space, had the same issue, where a lot of people were upset that they could not choose their side and got split from their friends when queuing together. So it's almost impressive how stupid it is that Gun just went ahead and did the same thing anyway and didn't give a fuck. The crazy thing is that many people, including me, are already upset at this baseline problem, and doesn't account for all the other problems this is going to cause in the actual game mode. For example, how the hell is the game balanced if you're expected to never know who your teammates are, or have played together before? Even content creators like Slash'n'Cast, who I like to think of as, quote, politically positive, had to quickly walk back that positivity when he saw that you couldn't play with your friends. And just for the record, I do disagree with Slash'n'Cast here, because if it's not a social deduction game like Among Us, if you can't pick your side in a game in 2024, that is a bad thing. The thing is, the TCM devs have already made a bad decision similar to this in the past, when they made it so that lobbies could actually launch with only 6 players in the September 5th, 2023 patch. Since the game is attempted to be balanced around 7, you can imagine the insanity and confusion among players seeing devs actually go through with this. Since players almost never started a lobby with only 6 players, because that would be insane, it's no surprise that later on in the September 19th patch, they decided to undo this change and go back to a 7-player requirement. I'm going to explain in detail why not being able to pick your role, as well as not being able to play with your friends on the sorority side, is going to completely destroy this game mode before it even comes out. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Now let's talk about the next set of issues, which involves throwing the match or disconnecting when you don't get the randomly assigned role that you want. Just for the record, a preference system doesn't solve this problem at all, because not only am I very unlucky in my real life, but whenever I don't get the side that I just want to play, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. And if I can't disconnect, I'm going to throw the game on purpose. It's not only me that's going to have this kind of behavior, it'll be a very common trend, which means most matches are going to have an incomplete amount of players or just end right away the second that Johnny disconnects because they didn't want to play Johnny. This was such a frustrating thing on Killer Clowns that it literally killed the game for me. A lot of times people that got Clown didn't even want to play it, so why not just let people choose what they want to play? It's also crazy that the sorority girls cannot queue up with their friends, considering that the entire game is based on teamwork and queuing up as a 3v4. A fact and a staple that Ronnie Hobbs himself said made the game stand out from others. So you're taking the entire selling point of the base game for the past year and throwing it out the window. As you can imagine, the response has been overwhelmingly negative, especially to not being able to play with your friends. One thing that I've seen people say is that Johnny against a quote 6 stack would make it so no one ever played as Johnny. However, that shouldn't matter if the game mode is actually balanced. The other major concern about Rush Week is how the hell do you intend for it to be balanced when you think that people are not going to know their teammates? We saw this in Killer Clowns where they overcompensated insanely for humans, and it was very, very unbalanced.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
I would absolutely love to hear from the game designers how they made sure that it's fair if there's no teamwork for the sorority girls, while at the same time ensuring Johnny doesn't just automatically lose if there actually is teamwork. Spoiler alert, that's impossible. My fear is, since Ronnie Hobbs is somehow still in charge, no offense, that the idea that the game can be terribly balanced and you can lose badly and still have a lot of fun is really flawed. Don't have to worry about balancing the game, because who cares if you lose? It's not only an excuse for poor balancing, it's as though the dev team forgot that they are the ones behind voice chat in lobbies and the ability to shit talk each other before and after a match.
I didn't get stabbed by Hanu once! What happened? You got fucked up down there! You need a forklift for how hard you were trying to get carried, bro! What the fuck? That was easy as fuck.
Nice
What am I playing, a fucking
Where'd you
2-year-old?
download them sheets?
You let some little kid play?
Where
Who do you give the controller to?
Aim, huh? Goddamn grown-ass man got a job like a real person.
Another thing about Rush Week is that there's no way to play it in a private match, which also means there's no way to practice it. A complaint that the devs finally addressed for the base game is that you can now start private matches for the core game mode with only one player. And the devs have actually tweeted before as a tip that new players can play this private match by themselves to familiarize themselves with the map and the game mode. It's also hilarious that the devs even suggest that maybe in the future we can do that in private matches and be able to play with our friends that way. So that means we'd have to gather 7 total people together for Rush Week. Most of this past year, people have complained that it's very difficult just to gather 4 total people together to test private matches with the base game, which is why they changed the entire requirement recently. If this sounds confusing and like it makes absolutely no sense, that's because it is, and it doesn't. We shouldn't have to gather 7 people just to play the game as intended with our fucking friends. We shouldn't have to wait at least a month for you to consider that with the new patch cycle, after the game mode is likely long dead. You just have to ask Wes one question. If you were willing to push hard enough to convince Kim Henkel to do this, and go against what the licensors might consider Texas Chainsaw, just because you believed in your vision, then why are you allowing these suits and advisors about queue times and all this bullshit to push away the core design of fun, which involves playing with your friends and being able to play whatever the fuck you want to play, even if you have to wait for it sometimes? I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and all that other stuff that every other guy tells you to do. See you later.